Look, I opened this jar of rotten baby food, and well, a butterfly came out.
Exactly. The Hindus and the Muslims, the Hindus got cows in their house, and the Muslims are trying to eat the beef.
Welcome to the Comedians in Elevators podcast. I've got my guest, Geno Segers. Geno, say hi, introduce yourself, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, guys. My name is Geno Segers, and I am an actor, not much of a comedian, but I have done my share of sitcom comedies all the way from NBC to Disney XD.
That's something a comedian would say is they're not a comedian. So, right?
I think so.
So a comic would say, yeah, I'm a comic. I got the jokes. But a comedian, they're so internal that, well, let's figure that out first. So, Geno, you ready to get started?
Yes, sir, I am indeed.
Listen, to my regular listeners, I know you don't like when at the beginning of these conversations I ask you to subscribe. None of us like it. I don't like saying it. I don't like it being in here. But it's frustrating. You know what else is frustrating? It's also frustrating when I look in the back end of the YouTube channel and I see that 56% of you that watch frequently haven't yet subscribed. And I know this because I see it in the comments section. You say things like, I didn't know I didn't subscribe. And that's actually what fuels the show. Basically, it's like you're making a donation to the show. So that's why I ask all the time, because it enables us to build and build and build. And we're going for the long term here. Hit the subscribe button and we'll continue to build this show for you. That's my promise. Thank you to all you guys that do subscribe. It means the world to me. All right, so the whole point of the podcast is to compare and contrast the comic versus the comedian. So I define the comic as any person telling funny jokes versus the comedian who's a funny person telling any joke. So, Geno, would you agree that you start as a comic and evolve into a comedian?
I would say yes, but I wouldn't call myself a comedian. I have a deep respect for those people that have that ability to get up in front of others and really just, nail a routine. That's going to take a minute for me.
Well, I would argue the comic does that as well, right? They're just, they're more overt about it, perhaps, more externalized.
Maybe. That's a good, I never really thought of it in that sense. But that's an interesting take on it. That's something I'd probably have to think about.
Yeah. So one aspect, I did define it kind of in a wordy way, but another way I could look at it is say that the comic is external and the comedian is internal, right? So if we look at that kind of dynamic as well. So, and why is it even relevant to put these terms? We always put labels on everything, and sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. So you ready for the first question?
I am indeed, my friend.
All right, so it's all about the first question is about the role of persona in comedy. So how much of the comedian's voice is a character versus the real self?
I would say there's always a bit of themselves in the character. But the more you can commit to the character, the funnier I believe it'll be. But there's always a piece of you in the funny. You know what I mean?
100%. What I'm hearing is you're describing the comedian to a T, right? So
right.
So what about the comic, right? What about the external? Because the comedian, you cannot be telling jokes, right? A lot of comedy, actually, maybe it's arguable that in a movie you don't want to tell a joke. Your comedy, exactly. So what do you do, right? Are you?
Well, it depends. It really does depend on the character, because if you're in a movie or you're in a story, you got to live out the character's experience, right? So it relies on the writing and the development of the character. So if the character is just loosely formulated, then that relies on the actor to bring this character to life. But they got hard lines for this character. Like, let's say I'm the straight character and you're the silly slapstick guy. The straighter I am, the more funny it's going to be.
Right, definitely.
I think of James Earl Jones in Coming to America.
Huh.
he refused the role because he didn't want to be in a comedy.
Right.
But they assured him that he was going to be stoic, he was going to be proper, it was going to be Shakespeare. And the further he went with that, the funnier it was.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't funny. It was funny because of everybody else.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, no, that's a great example. I'm actually remembering it. I haven't seen it in how many years.
Yeah, but if you think about the way he delivered those lines, they were very articulate, very forward, very James Earl Jones.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And he was being his character.
He was being his character.
Yeah.
So that then lends itself to the funny when everybody else around him is being slapstick, you know?
Yeah. No, 100%. That's a very so everyone there is really being a comedian, you know, not being a comic. They're not externalizing the jokes, even though it's a hilarious film. So
I couldn't have said it better.
Yeah. So then, does authenticity matter, or is illusion part of the magic?
I think that the illusion is combined with the authenticity. You know what I mean? It just how authentic you are able to deliver this character, and you got to rely on the writing a lot of cases, you know. And there's I always like to say that there's really no such thing as bad acting or bad writing. It's just a bad delivery. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're going to put all the weight on your shoulders as the actor.
You
the buck
gotta
stops with you.
I don't care what the material is.
Yeah.
If you're not delivering it the way it's supposed to be delivered, it's gonna fall over. It's gonna fall flat. You know, and you can't always point to the writers because you're the one that's delivering it.
Yeah, at the point you've accepted the role.
Find a way to deliver it. You know what I mean? If you believe it, everybody else is going to believe it. And at the end of the day, you're really only shooting for 2 to 5% of the market anyway. So if you get 2 to 5% of the market that like what you deliver, man, you win it.
That's an interesting way to look at it. Can you elaborate on what you mean by 2 to 5%? What is that?
Okay, for example, if no matter what you do, no matter how you deliver it, somebody's going to find a reason not to like it.
Right. I would say 33%, actually. I'd say it's a larger number.
Okay, maybe. But I was just giving it 2 to 5. I'm just saying, you know, I'm thinking of it in terms of social media. Like if I throw out a video on my social media, 2 to 5% are going to think it's hilarious. 95% will think, or maybe 50% will think, the rest of them think, oh, that was corny, right? But
how do you know what they're thinking though? Because on social media, you're really not getting genuine feedback most of the time.
Not all the time. But if you look at your comments, well, if I look at my comments,
right,
you know, I get a huge swath of people that agree with me. That's the echo chamber. I can't really count that, right? I can't really count that. That's drinking the Kool-Aid, right? If you listen to your echo chamber, you drinking the Kool-Aid, right? So grandmama say, baby, never drink the Kool-Aid. If you go to somebody's house and the Kool-Aid is too sweet, put a little water in it, baby. Now it's your Kool-Aid. If you go to a house and the Kool-Aid ain't sweet enough, add a little sugar, baby. Now that's your Kool-Aid, right? So if people are too critical, I add a little sugar to it. If people aren't critical enough, I add a little water to it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, so for sure. You're taking it. What you take away from it is the key.
Exactly. So I don't listen to the echo chamber as much. So I find about 5% of the people that are objective, 5 to 10%, maybe sometimes 10%, depending on the video, that are very objective. Invariably, some people are gonna hate what you do. Some people are gonna hate your joke. Some people are gonna love your joke, you know? But that's just simply because they love you, I think, or that they're enamored with you. I don't know. At the end of the day,
or the material.
Right. At the end of the day, if I refer back to James Earl Jones, I think it was probably one of his best roles. But I love James Earl Jones, so I'm part of the echo chamber. You know what I mean?
Are you doing a parody of him maybe in later years now in the future?
Oh, you know what? I wouldn't be averse to it.
Okay.
But I certainly wouldn't be averse to it. And if I don't get an audition for it, I'm going to feel some kind of way.
Well, I think then let's make one. Let's create one. That's how I would see it.
You know what? That's not a bad idea, actually.
Not at all. Not at
I
all.
could, yeah, absolutely. That's not a bad idea. I
Not at all.
might, I
All right.
might do a, I might do a, I might do my own little self tape of James Earl Jones doing an interview. I've seen a lot of his footage. His sort of interview footage. I might just do an interview with James Earl Jones.
I mean, on it. So have just so for stand up, that would be epic. Like if you're doing any jokes, oh, that would be epic right there. Because you right now, it's pretty clear that you would nail it, like an impersonation of him. So any bit surrounding that would be on point. You would definitely you'd nail it. Hit it out of the park on that one. So
That's
just got
funny.
to work on the jokes. Oh, it is. Oh,
Yeah,
it would
that's funny.
work. It would
Yeah,
work. All right.
yeah.
So speaking of, how about punching up versus punching down? So where do comics versus comedians subscribe to this? And let me put it in some historical context. Did a jealous medieval prince become the first comedian by killing the court jester?
Hmm. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that comedy should just be wide open. It's comedy, man. I mean, if you can't take a joke, I mean, maybe you shouldn't come to the comedy club. I
Of
don't care where
course.
you punch. I mean, punch up, punch down, but at the end of the day, the court jester that punched up too high and got his head chopped off, right?
Yeah, that's
That's a
right.
problem. That's a problem.
So
That's a problem,
it's
right? I mean,
yeah.
I mean, you can punch up to this point and you can't punch any higher than that.
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
really like that, man. I think that the freedom to say what I want to say comes at the expense of having to hear things I don't like to hear.
Right.
You know what I mean? The freedom of being able to say what I want to say comes at the cost of sometimes having to hear things I don't like. I'll take it.
Well, that's the way to go. So then is criticizing dead people considered punching down?
Hey, at the end of the day, they're not gonna feel it anyway. They're not gonna be insulted. I don't have a problem. I mean, if somebody wanted to say something about my dead grandmother, feel free, man. As long as it's funny, I'm gonna laugh.
Okay.
I don't have any reservations for that. And if somebody wants to say something about me after I'm dead, I got no reservations for that either. I'm
All
not gonna be here to
right.
defend myself.
Yeah, that's a healthy way to look at it.
Yeah,
So
I
how
mean,
about
I mean, I understand respecting the dead. I would never say something funny about someone,
right.
or I won't say funny. I won't say something insulting about someone that has passed away. I
Well,
just
criticizing is the word. Criticizing
okay,
is the
criticize.
word.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't do that. But if I can make a funny joke about someone that's no longer here, I don't see why that's off the table.
All right. So then how about cultural translation of comedy? So how do jokes that work in one country bomb in another?
That's simply because of the cultural differences. I mean, one group of people will find that dogs are lovable. Another group of people will find dogs disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
So those sort of cultural differences have a hard time landing in cultures that don't mesh with them. But I always think that multiracial societies are fine, and what we have in America is a multiracial society.
Mm-hmm.
But a multicultural society is going to have problems because if you're living beside someone that loves dogs and you hate dogs, it's not going to work out.
Yeah, there's going to
Beady,
be
beady,
some
beady.
boundaries there, to say the least.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. The Hindus and the Muslims. I mean, the Hindus got cows in their house, and the Muslims are trying to eat the beef. It's just not. It doesn't work.
I mean, that's quite a setup. That's quite a setup for a joke right
Yeah.
there. So, so then, how does the silence when your joke doesn't land hurt? Physically, emotionally, morally, or spiritually?
I think it hurts mentally. For me, if I'm telling a joke and it's quiet after I tell the joke, I'm in my head now. I can't speak for every other comedian or every other comic, but if I get in my head, oh man, I'm now battling. So the trick for me is to really say the joke or tell the joke, and if it doesn't work, if it doesn't land, keep it moving.
Kind
That's
of
just
reminds me
part of
of,
it. I got to
it
keep it
reminds me
moving.
of
Otherwise, if I
James Earl
set,
Jones on dogs as a joke.
there you go.
Yeah.
If it's if the joke doesn't land, man, you got to keep moving. I don't think that I think that wallowing in your self-pity is not going to end well.
Right. For sure.
But you know, some guys are really good at that. They're really good at, when the joke doesn't land, making that moment funnier.
Oh, you have to.
You got to.
Oh yeah.
You got to make that moment funny. Oh, that didn't land, huh? Yeah, no wheels on that plane. You know something? I don't know.
Right. No, that's it. It's exactly right. Hopefully it's not your whole bit, but there are some people that do that. Like they're always, every joke they land is not landing, but that's on purpose. So they can
Right.
land the plane upside down.
That's pretty clever though. You know what I mean?
It is,
if you can make that work, that's pretty clever.
It's a safety net for sure. You're definitely
Yeah.
So how about love and justice? So is the highest function of comedy to expose injustice or to make people feel less alone while living with it?
Wow. I would say less alone while dealing with it, because you can't change it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so the very minimum you can do is find a way to deal with it, you know? And if a comic can facilitate that, then yeah, that's 90% of it.
All right. So how about when a joke harms someone unintentionally? Does love demand accountability or does justice demand defiance?
I think that love demands accountability. And if the joke harms someone, you know, maybe we can have a discussion about it and unpack it after the show.
Right.
And really try to figure out, well, why are you here? If it hurts your feelings, I truly didn't intend on hurting your feelings, but you have to understand that it's really just comedy and it's really just a joke. And it's nothing personal. It's nothing directed at you personally. It's just a joke. I mean,
No.
it's nothing concrete, nothing hard, nothing sinister, you know.
I mean, it's a good way to test your first date. You bring her to a comedy club and see how she reacts, and then you'll know what's going on.
Oh, but comedy has been watered down so bad the last 10 years, man. And you almost can't say anything about any protected group, which I really don't think there should be anybody that's protected from comedy. I mean, you can't laugh at it. I mean, what are we doing?
Right. I mean, exactly. I mean, I'd argue the defense is that joke has to be funny, but it's hard to know until you say it if it's funny. So it's a difficult chicken and an egg argument, right? So very, very important question. Advertising and self-promotion. So who advertises themselves more? The comic, the comedian, or the magician? You know that place where you're not conscious and you're not sleeping either? That's your power bill to the electric company. Right here. I want us to be here with free energy, where the Wardenclyffe Tower meets the Eiffel Tower. But that's not where we are. We are here, where you've got the utility and you've got residential solar. Between these two, we know which one saves you money. This is where we can go in the meantime. But this is where I want us to be now, and this can be done now. So let me deputize you to represent DOSE, Department of Solar Efficiency, and let's get on the podcast to get the message out today. See you soon.
I would say the comedian. I would say the comedian.
All right. No magician?
I don't know of any magicians. I don't really know any of them. I mean, you know, there's a few of them out there that are pretty funny, but I live in Vegas, man, and there's only like one magician that I see on a billboard.
Right.
I can't count the comedians I see.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's like every billboard going down the 15, you see, another comedian selling something, selling bedding here and whatever.
Interesting. So you're seeing there, it's not about their shows, it's about products.
About products more so than actually their shows. But when their shows are in town, oh, forget about it, man.
Okay.
It's all over the place.
Oh, all right. So then is self-promotion seen as selling out or is it necessary for survival?
I think it's necessary. I think it's necessary. I think a lot of old comedians missed the boat with social media. When it first started cranking up, I think they thought, man, what is this internet stuff? Man, you're an internet comedian. Now those internet comedians are killing it, man.
Right.
These internet comedians got massive followings and they're going around the world touring and getting paid the big bucks. And the old school comedians like, what is this internet? What is this ticky talk? They don't
No,
really.
you're 100% right. There's a lot of TikTok stars that do stand up or attempt. They bring crowds, but
Yeah.
they're not funny. They're not funny.
But does the owner care?
No, well, they're getting no. It's well to a point because they're not representing comedy as much. That's the only catch. It's a tricky.
But when the drinks are sold
right
at the end of the night, and when he comes in, yeah, we're gonna have him back. He can get better along the way. You can get him coached up, but I've
See,
never
that's the
been.
funny. Yeah, sometimes not. Sometimes they can't get coached up because really what they got going on has really nothing to do with comedy. And it's just kind of the following makes it make sense in live on a
Right.
show. But yeah, it's tough to crack that nut. So
But imagine if a legitimate comedian started on social media when it first started.
right.
Imagine how much he would have amassed by now. A legit comedian.
Yeah.
But there are some funny guys on online, bro. There are some funny guys.
Oh yeah.
But like, I don't know that, for example, let's take, for example, the Hodge twins. They went around doing a show for a long time. I don't know how they could translate what they do online to the stage. I don't know how they could do that. I think that would be a difficult sell, But because they were so popular, people would come out to see them all the time.
Right. And that's the thing, because stand-up is a very particular set of skills that have to follow this sequence. And until you have that, there's no other way to do it but to do it, right?
Right.
So then who survives better in the cancel culture environment? The comic, the comedian, the magician, or the mudslinger?
The mudslinger, man.
Right.
Because a mudslinger don't care if he gets dirty. You know what I mean? If you don't care, you don't care. There's a lot of cats. There's a lot of mudslingers.
Mm-hmm.
And and if the mudslinger has a following, because he's a mudslinger, he could care less about, what Hollywood thinks or what the networks think. They could care less about that.
Do they have a following, or are they just kind of are they part of the mob?
Okay, what do you mean by mudslinger? Let's clear this.
Say critic is a very objective term.
Oh, okay, a critic. Oh,
that's in a very neutral term. When I say critic,
yeah,
critic, because we have professional critics. That's not what I'm referring to. Because now I think they're gone. I think everybody's a critic at this point.
Would you mean the hater?
Yes, which is also a critic, no?
Yeah, he's a critic, but okay, I see you. I see what you mean now. I would say.
No, I meant mudslinger. The guy throwing the tomatoes at the execution.
Okay.
Does he have a following?
I thought you meant another comedian who just didn't care. So then, in that case, then I would have to say comedian, because comedians should be professional enough to know that, hey man, this is just comedy, and I'm just doing my job.
Well, I would say Andrew Dice Clay was a mudslinger if you're going to call comedians.
Okay, exactly. And Andrew still doesn't care. He still doesn't care.
Right. So what is he doing? Is he a mudslinger? Is he a comedian or a comic is the question. I would argue he's a comic. He's externalized and he's a mudslinger, but that's fine. It works, right?
Man, you bring up a good point there, big man. You bring up a good point there, because he's got a physical way about him as well.
Right.
So that's an external thing,
It is, yeah. Well, it's coming.
Man.
Yeah, is he mocking himself or mimicking someone else? I mean, it's
I
very
think
externalized.
I think he's mocking. I think he's mocking himself, or
Right.
a character. What is it? A an alter ego,
Hmm. Yeah.
something that he thought was cool back in the day is really not cool right now.
Not now, but it was then. I mean,
It was then.
yeah,
So, but he's exaggerating those. Yeah, get the yeah. He's exaggerating it.
yeah, yeah.
So he might be mocking his former cool self. No, we have to ask Andrew.
I haven't seen him lately, but yeah, but that's interesting. I wonder how he's evolved. So,
Yeah,
so timing and delivery, is it a science or an art?
man, I think it's a bit of both, man. Some people don't have, some people have poor timing, and some people understand the timing in a way that's very technical. Some people, I mean, yeah, dude, I think it's a bit of both. It's the artist in me wants to land, but I know that if I don't wait until this laugh starts to decline, they're not going to hear the first bit of the joke. So there's a technical aspect to it, and then there's the artistry to it. You know what I mean? And it's a
That's a
timing.
great point.
You
Yeah,
know,
it's just like this. Like we're trying, there's a delay. It's hard to hear. It's like, when do I even interrupt? That's not interrupting. It's very difficult, right?
right,
Because it's always changing, especially in this virtual setup.
right.
So it's a very technical problem. It's not an artistic one, I
No,
think.
and even on stage,
Right.
because it becomes technical. Because if they can't hear the bit, how's that going to be funny?
Right.
How's the joke going to land if they didn't hear the first part of it? Because it was other people were laughing.
Mhm.
So it becomes a little technical, and there's a lot of mic control involved. And I mean, there's all kinds of things you can, and in the moment, you got to be on that.
Right.
So that takes time to master. So there's, like you said, there's a bit of artistry, but there's a bit of technique. It's a bit of both. It's a bit of both.
Mhm. So, Gino, are you ready to enter the multiverse?
Frankly, no.
Oh no, that's my next question.
No, I mean, frankly, I mean, y'all thought you meant like my whole world set up to the multiverse. I could barely set up the background screen for this Zoom.
All right, well, I'll give you the groundwork. So here it is.
Okay,
It's
okay,
board game Zoomcast, play versus performance. So you have to choose an avatar. All right. So if
okay.
comedy were a board game Zoomcast, are you competing as the colorist avatar, adding tone, mood, and shading, or the Foley artist avatar, building punchlines with soundscapes and timing?
Man, I'm gonna go with the color and mood, man.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the colors and moods because I like the broad strokes.
Okay.
Broad strokes. Let's set up the world. I
Okay.
would probably want to do that.
Okay, so then does comedy work better when it's painted vividly or when it's orchestrated sonically?
I would think for me, it's vividly painted
Okay.
vividly. Yeah.
All right, fair enough. So here on the Comedians and Elevators podcast, we have a tradition where the previous guest asks a question for the next guest. And the previous guest was Mitchell Holden. And his question for Eugenio is, what drives you to do what you do?
Wow. What drives me to do what I do is the fact that it's really it's an addiction for me. Um, I'm really addicted to really good quality art. I really just want to be a part of something that will stand the test of time. And I think about my great grandkids. I know that sounds weird, but I think about my great grandkids and I want them to look back on what their great grandfather was doing and think of me favorably. That's really what drives me.
Okay. Now, I would push back that that's not addiction because addiction is consumption and you're producing, you're
Oh,
creating
well,
things.
fair enough. Fair enough.
What you want is you want your grandkids to be addicted to consuming your content. That's what I heard.
Absolutely. And I want them to know that great granddaddy was doing something constructive, doing something positive, maybe I could do something to great granddaddy. Maybe I could learn something from my great granddaddy. I think that's going to become a thing
Yes.
in the distant future, that kids are going to look back at their antecedent, their ancestors, and say, "What was my great great grandfather doing back in the day?" And there's going to
Well,
be a trail. There's going to be a trail. There's going to be a digital trail of what people were doing back in the day. I
so
mean,
just
I can't go back and look at my great grandfather and
right.
see him online.
Okay, so I'm sure you've seen the Black Mirror series on Netflix, right?
No.
Oh, okay. It's super sci-fi. It's really good. Great original storylines, plot concepts, and you stepped right in one of them. The idea that your digital past can be recreated through AI, so that your future descendants can experience you in the present by AI. Oh yeah, it's already a thing. It's already happening. I don't know if you've seen George Carlin stand up. That's now new jokes being created by AI in the style of George Carlin, and they are good and they're nonstop. It's
Wow.
rapid fire George Carlin.
Wow. Bro, I, I,
Yeah.
you see what I mean? You see what I mean?
Right. So would you want to
I
participate? So
had
would
no
you?
idea of this show,
Yeah.
but I'm thinking about this. I've been thinking about this for the last 5 years.
Well, you got to see Black Mirror for the
Oh
first
man,
season. Oh yeah.
I gotta watch it, bro. I've been thinking about this for probably 5 or 6 years.
You're
Man, what
about
are
to.
my great great grandkids gonna see about
Right.
me? Because everything, the internet's forever, right?
Well, more or less, you gotta it's still they're still stored somewhere in a data, in a physical drive. So we got to make sure it's secure, right? And that's the
Right,
new
right.
frontier.
But at the end of the day, I mean, they're gonna ask questions about us. Are we not asking questions about our ancestors?
Oh yeah, we don't have many answers, right? That's why you come up
We don't have many answers.
with phony baloney
Ancestry.com,
ideas. Exactly, which is yeah,
you know,
exactly.
and I argue that it's really just a guess. They don't
It's a
know.
big guess.
They weren't taking any DNA samples back in the day.
Correct. Yeah,
They
it's a
don't
big
know. And let's face it, man, we share 50% DNA with bananas, or
yeah, exactly.
50% genome with bananas. So I mean,
Yeah.
come on, man.
No, yeah, it's a big guess. It's a big guess
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, 100%. All right. Last question. Legacy. Who gets remembered? Will the comics Type 5 survive time, or will the comedian's cultural point of view be more timeless?
I think that culture changes so often, so regularly. Culture is changing so regularly. So a cultural point of view could end up being quite negative or quite infamous.
Hmm.
Um, I would
That's
have to go with
interesting.
I would have to go with the latter, bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you, so, wow, I mean, so I get, yeah, I see how there's not a lot of positive cultural. I mean, music does it with genres like the 90s, musicals,
Yeah.
80s, they have like their own style. But when it comes to comedians and cultural point of view, it's usually a heavy criticism,
Yeah,
right? So,
exactly. They
all
end up,
right.
and because our I mean, you think about some of the comedy uh that Red Fox did, or some of the comedy that Richard Pryor did.
Mhm.
Not, a lot of that wouldn't even make, you couldn't get on Instagram and say some of the stuff that they said back then.
Right.
You know what I mean? They pointed the finger at certain people. They couldn't say, the F word for a gay guy. They
Mhm.
would say
Oh,
that like
right.
500 times,
Right.
Some of that stuff wouldn't land today.
Yeah. Those things have definitely changed what labels we're using. So
Right, right.
awesome. Well, Gino, where can everybody find you online?
You can find me at Geno Segers. That's GenoSegers. Wow, let me spell my own name. That's Geno Segers. Geno Segers. GenoSegers on all platforms.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Gino, thank you so much for being my guest. And for everyone, please like and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next one. If you're interested in too much information lock in the network state, or Mantipus the chicken shit, check out this video. Or is it this one right here? Well, either way. Lizard.